Getting ready now for Heat 28, which is for the heavyweight division. It's Dylan Ihtiyar that will start this race from pole position as we get underway. We are underway already, wasting no time this morning to get into the first of these 12-minute heats. This is the heavyweight division. These drivers have only done one heat so far, so this is going to be critical for them now in their second heat to make it through. We've got just 3 second heat races, which we are bringing you now, and then we'll be into the third and final heats of the event coming right up. So Dylan Ihtiyar leading the way in the early stages of this one. Some good names up there in this grid. Of course, you see there Thomas Ronhaar, the F1 esports star, starting from P10 in this race. I think he's already made up a couple of positions, but we'll confirm that as they come across the line for the first time. They head through the final corner, the rather infamous cafe curve, where it narrows up quite a lot. Across the line to complete lap number 1 of the race. It is Ihtiyar in the lead. Caleb Beddoes had a good start. He's made up a position at the expense of Ben Pickard. Marco Grady across the line in 4th place. Sam Lukes across the line in 5th place. But as is so often the case, it's all changing and shuffling through the first hairpins. People trying to make moves. The circuit begins with the Conways and Henrys bends before the 2 hairpins. Now through these S's and then towards the Symes Sweep, Pullmans and Paddock, kind of a nearly a corkscrew-esque section of circuit, heading up Dingman Hill towards Garda, and then to the Senna Bend, the Cafe Curve to complete the lap. It's Dylan Ihtiyar then that leads them around. Caleb Beddoes, Ben Pickard have kind of broken away. You see there's that big pack of cars that's forming in the latter half of the top 10 down to the rear of the field. It is the top 6 or so that have broken away. In fact, no, the top 4 only that have really broken away from that, and then the rest of the pack is 5th on backwards. Ross Sandwell just put in a very, very strong lap to make up 4 places and move up into P5. You see him there in the back of shot. He's the number 12 kart just going through shot there. So he's managed to leapfrog through this big bedlam of karts running it down the order. Sandwell, who was the heavyweight champion here in the 2025 edition of the Kart Race of Champions, so he comes in as the reigning champ with a point to prove, I'm sure. His first task will be to get himself into the A final. Now we watch the leading 3, which have shifted a little bit. Caleb Beddoes is up into the lead, so Ihtiyar and Ben Pickard, slightly different order now with Beddoes in the lead. Looking a little bit further back there to George Papadopoulos aboard the number 8. His distinctive green and yellow race suit makes him nice and easy to spot. He's just behind Sam Lukes, so Papadopoulos running in 8th place at the moment with Saul Gregory not too far back. Across the curbs go the leading trio. This being Heat 2, these drivers will get a clearer impression of where they are in the standings after this race. In the heavyweight division, the current leader is Charlie Ratford, thanks to 2 wins yesterday. So he's got a perfect score of 50 points. That should pretty well lock him in for the A final later on. For Ihtiyar, he got a 18-point score. Oh, and a bit of a moment there between Lukes and Papadopoulos, and Lukes really was very heavily gesturing. I don't know whether there was maybe something going wrong. He didn't feel something was right, but I mean, look at the lot positions he's lost there in that contact with Papadopoulos. And Thomas Ronhaar making his way up. He's managed to get himself into, I think that will be 7th place now, and he's going for the inside of Papadopoulos. That will put him up into 6th position, and he immediately lobbies with Papadopoulos for no counter-attack, just to focus forward and try and close in on some of the others. Certainly Ronhaar feels that he will need a good score in this race. Coming out of the race yesterday, the first heat yesterday, Ronhaar has a perfect score. He has 25 points on the board, so he'd like to get a solid haul for this race number 2, heat number 2 of the heavyweight division for him. Point scores go 25, 22, 20, 18. and then down in increments of 1 point from there. So as of right now, Ronha for 7th place would be not scoring quite as many points. It's going to be on 15 points as things stand, which should get him through to a final based on, or at least put him in contention for a final going into Heat 3, but certainly get a few more points than he currently has. Bedo, Kadir Ihtiyar and Ben Pickard continue to run as a group here. Ross Sandwell, who's moved up to P4 now at the expense of Mark O'Grady, is closing in on them as well. I think he will join that to make it a leading quartet at the front of the field. Meanwhile, George Papadopoulos has just lost out to Saul Gregory, so that's a change for 8th position. Bedo, Ihtiyar and Pickard have pretty much fallen into line at the front of the field, of course, to try and build themselves a gap. But now we're starting to see a little bit of dissension in the ranks as Kadir Ihtiyar makes the move to the inside at Garda Bend. And indeed, Sandwell is pretty much there with them now. Sandwell, as we alluded to, a champion here at KROC last year, and a big move from Ben Pickard there on Kalen Bedo. Bedo then demoted to 3rd place, Pickard up to 2nd, and Sandwell is right there with them. Now goes grass tracking coming out of the 2nd hairpin. Bedo looks over the shoulder, sees that the defending heavyweight champion is right there behind him, and Bedo going defensive there against Sandwell as they headed through the paddock bend. Now at the Garda bend, the Garda hairpin. Sandwell makes the lunge and then says, "Follow me, I will drag you to the promised land." Let's see if they can do so in the 5 minutes that are left. 2 of the podium finishers from the heavyweight division are here today again in 2026. The 2025 winner, Ross Sandwell, who we see on screen there aboard the number 12. Also Brand van den Einde, he was 3rd in last year's heavyweight division. He is back for more in 2026. Number 5 moving up there past the number 4, so that's Terry Ewan past Mark O'Grady, and Thomas Ronhard just behind the 2 of them. He'll be looking to at least break the top 5. I think anything beyond 4th place would really rely on a big battle at the front here now for Thomas Ronhart. But a 5th position would be a solid effort. Looks like Kalen Bedo is struggling to match the pace now of those leading 3, falling off it just a little bit. Ronhart getting a bit of a shove there from Saul Gregory behind. George Papadopoulos there, I think, got a message to come in. Has he got himself a black flag? Yes, he has. A black flag that he has ignored to this point. So he's got a subsequent command to come in. While that's going on, Dylan Kadir Ihtiyar there, distinctive for his Valentino Rossi flavoured helmet. He moves through to the front of the field. Also has some Ferrari backing on his race suit that you may have spotted. That's because the local Ferrari dealership sponsors his local karting championship. That was Ross Sandwell to the front. So Ross Sandwell made the move there at paddock to move into the lead. Ben Pickard 3 wide with Bedo and with Kadir Ihtiyar, and Bedo feels a bit short-changed there, having been on the outside of that 3 wide situation. Meanwhile, Ross Sandwell has expertly picked his way through to the front, and he already now has a 2nd over the competition. So not only has he climbed his way through the field, he's now got himself right up there to the tippy top, and doesn't seem to have any challengers because these 3 are really knocking the 6s out of each other. Dylan Kadir Ihtiyar has moved up into 2nd place for the time being. 12 skiers through Paddock Bend, well clear of the dissenting ranks from 2nd on down. Ben Pickard runs very wide indeed there. Just seen George Papadopoulos come past me on foot, unfortunately, so he's been withdrawn from the race. While that's going on, Ben Pickard stays ahead just of Kalen Bedo. I think Sandwell is home free, 2.3 seconds clear. I don't think Kadir Ihtiyar can do that in the 2 minutes and 15 seconds that remain. You can see that Kalen Bedo really kind of pushing the limits there, running very, very wide out of the first hairpin. You have to be careful not to overly abuse those track limits. There's been some warnings for that already. I think we've seen many track limit related black flags so far this weekend, but they do keep a close eye on this stuff. So Sandwell still extending his advantage, and critically, that second group of three from 5th place down to 7, Ewan, Gregory and Ronhart, I do think they are closing in slightly on the bickering 1, 2 and 3 carts. These guys have to be careful not to cost themselves too much time, because the trio behind are closing in. Terry Ewan will be hoping that Saul Gregory and Thomas Ronhart remain behind, but no, actually, Saul Gregory has the inside line. Bit of a hit check between the two of them, and Gregory moves himself up into 5th place. And has he got the speed to reel in those ahead of him? Ronhart now looks keen to get past Ewan as well. Saul Gregory, a solid force here in the heavyweight division. Himself up into 5th position. We have had it confirmed that this is going to be the final lap of the heat. Front of the field, 3.6 seconds clear is Ross Sandwell, the champion from last year here at KROC in the heavyweight division. He's going to make it a second heat win of the event, putting him in very good stead for the rest of the day. He will have a heat 3 later on, and then of course we'll get into the finals. He'll be hoping for an A final, of course. Dylan Ihtiyar looking over his shoulders as Ross Sandwell looks to the checkered flag, which he graciously receives. Dylan Ihtiyar takes second. Bedo does just finish behind him in 3rd place, with Pickard keeping a watching brief in 4th position. Saul Gregory didn't quite reach them ultimately. I think if the race had taken one